What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of my HLTV Fantasy. We're looking at the PGL Bucharest 2025 playoffs. As you can see, group stage was a complete disaster. Only the two Aurora guys going positive. Liquid especially, a real disappointment. Mongols also didn't make playoffs after losing to Falcons. And Techno was definitely the worst player from the Mongols, so honestly just very bad. Like Naf had, I believe it was like his second worst HLTV event or something. So yeah, not much I can do there. It was a difficult event, and it's gonna continue to be a difficult event in the playoffs because a lot of these matchups are very close in my eyes. There's, I would say, one favorite to win the event, and then there's almost every other team could make it to the finals, make it, even win the event. Just depending on how well they play. Like if we like Aurora is the number one favorite for me. Eternal Fire had been in every playoffs so far this year, and they are just a very solid team. And I think this could be the event they finally take home the win. They're also looking to have a slight break after this event, which is probably good for them because they've been playing in every event available pretty much. But yeah, I would say Aurora is the number one favorite, and because of that I'm not really looking at teams on the lower side of the bracket. But then on the upper side, like Gamer Legion have honestly been so impressive lately. Like they could definitely make the finals run. Falcons, we know that it's a slightly dead team in that Molesi is probably coming in, and there's rumors about Kyosuke eventually coming in as well. Tough to say when that would be. But like on their day, Falcons can definitely win these kinds of matches, and we've already seen them in like a big events finals, so why couldn't they make it now? Honestly, the strongest team in my eyes on this side of the bracket would be 3D Max, who is a bit inconsistent, but we know that they have a pretty high ceiling, I would say. I think they can play very well, and I almost see them as favorites against FaZe. I would probably put them up as favorites against FaZe personally, just because FaZe has not been very impressive. Gamer Legion or 3D Max went 3-0, FaZe only 3-2, for example, but also just in general, I would say 3D Max has shown better things. But FaZe also, of course, firepower is there for that lineup. Everybody knows that on their day they can beat any team firepower wise. So if the calling is there, if the synergy is there, they can do it. But 3D Max has been playing a lot better. That's just the harsh truth. So for me, this side of the bracket, Aurora. And then on this side of the bracket, I think it's 3D Max for me. And probably a last player from Gamer Legion. It feels weird in like a pretty big event playoffs go for teams like this. But when there's no Navi, Vitality, no Spirit, no Mouse, these teams aren't in the playoffs. I'm not gonna be able to pick them. So and Mongols isn't here. So I think Aurora and go pretty high on them money wise, and then on this side of bracket go for players who I think from 3D Max and Gamer Legion. In terms of the most big players, a lot of G2. I personally think G2 probably beats VP, but we've seen VP play or be at least able to play pretty well. Also, G2 might just be losing after this event. So this could very well be last stand, but that sometimes can power them up. Either way, I would say Aurora is just a better team. And I wouldn't want to pick a player from one of these teams because even if they make it through the semis, I think they're gonna lose. So I'm not even hedging that much by picking out of these. And also, I'm not sure who's even gonna win between G2 and VP. So yeah, let's get into actually picking the team. Aurora, that name is so annoying to me in English to say. Like in Finnish, it's a very word to say, but Aurora is a bit But either way, I'll be picking two of their players. Two I'm gonna ignore. FaZe I'm gonna ignore. I'm gonna ignore Falcons as well. And like 3D Max's pricing is also one of the things I already looked at, and I was like, the most expensive player being Body at 200k. When I personally think that they are one of the favorites on that side of the bracket, it just makes too much sense to me. Double up on them. For example, Maka. I think Maka is the number one player I'm looking at here and being like, I just have to go. He's been so impressive on that team. Main oping, IGLing, and still putting up very good stats. I think Maka is probably the first player that I want to include in my team out of these guys. After that, like, anyone could be the pick. I think I'm leaning toward, like, I want to go for the Aurora players that I want. And because of the player prices on 3D Max, I think I can afford some of the more expensive players on Aurora. I think Xantares is the kind of player I want. Been kind of falling, like the gap between Xantares and the other players has been falling, but I still think he's the best player on the team, the one that plays some of the best positions, and like I think 1k more between him and Voxic, I will always be for Xantares. Then it's like I don't want to go major, I think, because I think I can afford to go for Vicadia or Jota. And I think Vicadia just has the higher ceiling. Been performing pretty well, I believe, in recent events. Actually, in Bucharest, he's been a bit worse, but like the past events, been having some pretty good stats. Let's actually check out Jota's stats. I haven't followed their stats that much. Very decent as well for Jota, but I would say I would prefer Vicadia's recent stats still. Kind of, I mean, it's a decently sized gap. Is there a chance of making actually a Voxic and Xantares lineup? That would be very strong if I can do that. Because I mean, Voxic has been so solid lately. He was the only good player in my last draft as well. I go for these and Gravity. There's actually players I can pick here. For 180, Ixon, Electronic, ZTR is I guess the one I would be looking at. That's actually so good. Voxic and Xantares. I think the lineup I kind of had in my draft earlier was with like Gravity, Vicadia, and then Tosun, because Tosun's silently having a pretty decent tournament here as well. Like all of Gamer Legion is having a pretty good good event, so yeah. This is what I had earlier, but I think if I can bring in Voxic, it's a 5k difference. I would say Voxic is so much more stable as a player as well. I think I like that. Then Gravity and then ZTR. Can't quite upgrade to XRC. Of course, if I don't go Maka, and I go for like someone else, I can go for a better Gamer Legion player than Tosun. But I think Slend isn't worth it, and then it's gonna be too hard to get to Res or PR. Yeah. I could go for Body instead of Maka though, I think. Right? Go for Body and Gravity. ZTR if I want to. How has ZTR's stats been? But I mean, even like as long as they win the first match, I can just chicken out on ZTR against 3D Max in the semis. Go like bottom scorecard into that. I think that's fine. And even like ZTR, I think can be pretty okay fragging wise. He's not a great fragger, of course, but like IGL, that price is pretty good. The question is, do I actually like Body more than Maka even? That's interesting. Like they are pretty similar. Is this just recency bias? Like last month, Body's actually 1.99. Maka's even worse. Yeah, just because the only other event they played is PGL, where they didn't do that well. That's true. But these are better. And yeah, that's like the main stage as well. I guess 12 map sample size still. But... oh, and it actually cuts off some of the EPL. Ah, right. Going to last 1 month actually cuts off some of the event. Some of the games played during that event. I think body is probably the pick then. If I go for this. Yeah, I like this. I'll just reorder everything, but to have what? Gravity, Antares, Voxic, and or yeah. This looks like a pretty solid team to me. Like yeah. Yeah, it's also it's a single elimination playoff. Like having one very cheap player to figure out is not bad at all. And we're going high on the best team in the playoffs on paper. And we're going for we still get like the most expensive player on who I think is the second best, or yeah, the second best team in the tournament on the other side of the bracket. I think that makes a lot of sense. So in terms of roles and such, I think Voxic main op again, like last stage, should always be the best here. Yeah. Antares is gonna be good with a lot of things. Gravity usually has been like a headshot king. That's probably gonna be still a friendly. Ridiculous. Do I want to go eco-friendly on ZTR instead? Probably yes. For 31, but we're only gonna get like one use case of it, most likely. Maybe actually better. Or support. I think might actually be the best. Or the best. Then gravity on the eco-friendly. Yeah, I like that. And then Xantares, so body's gonna be a bit of a hard one, yeah. Kind of expected that. He actually likes eco-friendly as well. Maybe it's eco-friendly body and then headshots on gravity. That's a bit better. And then Xantares probably, well, a T rating probably. Entry or T rating. Yeah, actually entry is better. He's really good on her. Okay. Very good rolls in the end. Like just body is a bit interesting. Like I'd rather have, or I'd love to have eco-friendly on gravity. But then body doesn't really have anything I would want to have on him. I mean, you could go headshot machine on body. That is actually maybe better. That seems like it would be better. Yeah, sure. Headshots on body and slightly better. And then boosters, it's gonna be best of threes all the way. Probably this. Just throw good boosters on. Assist. Assist could be on any of these. Probably top of scorecard Santares, yeah. Falcons for ZTR. The SMG here. I think assist for body might be. Then headshot machine and assist doesn't really make sense as a combination, I think. Say best pistol on. Fine. Or should we go bottom of scorecard? Bottom of scorecard can be. Actually, bottom of scorecard's at the. And then on body, assist versus. I'd rather use assist someone else. Maybe bait is the one to go for here. Sure. Okay. I'm happy with this lineup. It's very difficult to predict these playoffs. Like, we're talking very fine margins, I think. Even Complexity could beat Aurora, just based on the fact that Complexity has actually been looking decent this event, which is crazy to say. And also, even if they win, I think VP can definitely win here in the semis, but maybe it's finally their time. New organization, new luck in playoffs. Time to get that trophy in, and we're kind of going gambly on them doing well, and especially the heavy hitters on that lineup doing well. If you enjoy this kind of content, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you. Goodbye.